Honestly, at some point I felt like giving up in making this video because every force of nature didn't just want me to make this video. At first, I made the video, completed it, and I found out that my screen was not recording. So I started again, and I found out that then my camera was not recording. But then you could say, why not I just post the video and, since the screen recorded, but it had no voice, and I do find it hard making a voiceover after a video has been recorded. I like making the voice as I am making the video. So I started again, and this time around the screen was recording, the camera was recording, but then I was interrupted by the Power Holding Corporation of Nigeria, or whatever they are being called, and that became an issue because over time in this area we actually do have constant power supply, but in the recent times, with the fuel scarcity being a thing now, power supply has been really erratic here. So I want to use this opportunity to call on the authorities to solve this problem for us. Today we're going to be discussing something that is not really talked about in Photoshop, and it's something that is really very important, and I feel it deserves so much more than the praise it gets. So today we're going to be talking about replace content in Photoshop. And if you are used to making mockups or doing a lot of designs and putting them in mockups, you will understand what replace content is all about. But if you're not used to it, you might not have even ever used that command before in Photoshop. So let us get into it, and today we'll be discussing the advantages of replace content, where you can use it, and probably if it has disadvantages, and also where it cannot work. So let us get into Photoshop now and talk about replace content. Here we are in the amazing world of Photoshop, and this is a logo I designed sometime last year. If you want to know about this logo, you can go to my Instagram page, U-Graffix Designs. The link is in the description below. You can follow me from there, and you will see this work and every other work and the process that went through this work, me getting this work done. In this logo, I want to show you what replace content does basically, and then we'll dive in deeper and see other things that you can actually achieve with it. So this is a smart object, by the way. I can right click here, and when I right click, you'll find out that over here in this area you will see the replace contents command. It is only available if the object is a smart object. Let us say it is a shape, by the way. I made this shape, it is white. Let me give it a color so that you can see it. So this is a black rectangle. When I right click, I don't see any replace content anywhere at all. So that means that it does not work in shapes. And also, let's say I rasterize this image and I right click, you won't also see replace content. So it does not work in shape or parts. It definitely won't work in text. It only works in smart objects. That is the first rule of replace content. The command is only available for smart objects, and if you have your computer, you can try this alongside with me. However, let me right click and replace content. I can choose any of these logos. These are the logos I've done over the years, and I will choose this one and place it here, and it immediately replaces the logo just that way. But now you can ask, why not I just drag and drop the logo and delete the other one? Why should replace content be a thing here? Well, let me tell you something. What if I have to place this logo in many places? So let's say, for instance, one is here, one is here, one is here, and one is here. And let us even make it spicy and make it more fun. One, I will add some layer styles to it. I think that is what it's called. Yeah, I'll add layer styles to it. And for the other one, I will give it some kind of transformation, and let us see if replace content still works for these ones. So let me just make them separate a bit more. And for this one, I will leave it this way. This one, I'm going to change the color and add some adjustments to its layer. So in the layer style box, I can give it a bevel and emboss, give it a drop shadow, and maybe add a stroke to it. It doesn't matter actually now, but then I just added some things in the layer style so that whenever we come here, we have effects. So this one has effects, and in the third one, I will transform it such that it looks this way. And for this one, I will also give it a transformation, but a different kind of transformation. I will warp it instead. And not just warping it, I will also flip it horizontally so it is coming from the other direction. Now I will replace any of these logos. It doesn't matter anyone. I can right click on, I can close my eyes and choose anyone at random and right click. Okay, I choose this one. And replace content, I will choose make use of any logo I want. I will use Pick and Smile prints. Also a logo I did last year. You can also go and check in my Instagram to find out. And as you can see, it changed it and retained every effect I did on that logo. So one advantage now is that it saves you the time of changing each of these logos and having to put exactly that same effect you did before on it. And you know how hard it can be to get the exact kind of warp, to get the exact kind of transformation you used in the previous ones. With replace content, you don't need to bother yourself. Just change the logo and it maintains everything you put in it. And even if the logo appears in several places as duplicates of each other, it will apply the replace content command to all of them. It does not matter the one you choose, it will apply it to all of them. So that is the advantage. But can this actually be applied to a design? The thing that triggered me to make this tutorial is this work. I actually was doing this work, and when I did this the HC Royal Experience, I should put 2022 here, but then I didn't. I was in a rush and I actually forgot to put it. So I sent it to the client and she pointed out that this is not complete yet. And I have this in several other places. I have it over here, and also if I turn to the other side of the design, I have it over here and over here. And I've placed them in strategic points, giving them some effect. As you can see, this one has a drop shadow and color overlay over it, and so does this one as well, and both of them are not exactly the same. Some little changes were applied and it will be really tricky to get those kind of changes back. And this one as well has a color overlay over it. I think it should be the same color with the other one. It is the same color with the other one. So I went back and remade the work and added the 2022, saved it as a PNG file, and we'll now be needing to replace it here. As you can see, let us observe it again. This one has no 2022 in it, and when I go over to the one at the other side of the page, you can as well see that it has no 2022 in it. So I can click on any of these actually and replace it, and it will affect everything or everywhere the logo appears in this document. So I will right click now and go to replace content, find the new one which I'm to replace it with, and place it, and it does the work. As you can see, the 2022 has appeared here. It has also appeared this area, and when we go to the one at the other side, as you can see, it also appeared here as well. So it has saved me that time and the struggle to actually do it one after the other and place it in the same position where this one is. That is the big advantage of replace content. It saves time and it makes your work faster. And even if you added effects to them, like we've already seen, it's actually just going to carry those effects onto the new one you made. Simple as that. But then where does it not work? First of all, look at this logo. They look exactly the same when I duplicate all of them, right? Now let us say I bring in this same logo again. I import it again into Photoshop. I have this one already, and I go over to where I have the logo and I import the exact same logo, resize it almost even at the same size, and place it somewhere and duplicate them as well. Will the replace content affect these new ones? Let us just choose. I will at random again choose this one. Okay, this one is where my mouse is closest to, so I will choose this one and I will right click and replace content. Let us see if it will actually replace all these occurrences of that same logo. Remember, it is the same logo. I only exported it twice, imported it twice. So I we'll replace it with Ikenga price. So you can actually double click or click and select and place. So it replaced it, but as you can see, the other ones still retained who they were. So it does not work when you do multiple imports. It only works when you make copies of that single import. It will only work on those copies. All right, so have that in mind, that it will not work on multiple imports. So I can replace this one separately, and I can choose this one and equally replace it separately. In this time I will use another logo, and we have two different logos simply because we had two different imports of the same logo. Photoshop will not treat it as the same logo, it will treat it as different imports. That means that Photoshop does not actually see your logo as it is. It sees it as binary codes, it sees it as digits, which is expected. And you won't expect it to act like a human being and say, oh, okay, they are the same logo, so I should replace everything. If you wanted it to replace everything, you should just make only copies and replace, or select any copy to replace. It will do the rest for you. Also, let us say you open a new document and I will get rid of everything now and have just one, the original one, and I drag it and drop it into this new document. It is also the original, and I go over to this one and let me duplicate it this time around. Remember, this one is also a duplicate of the one over here, and I can select any of them and right click and replace content. Will it affect the one in the other document? Let us find out. And replacing content, it replaced the ones in this document, but let us see the other document, it didn't touch it. So the second rule is that it has to be on the same document for you to be able to replace that content. So if you're working on different documents and you are using that same logo, but then you have to change it, or you're using that same smart object and then you have to change it, you have to go to each document and change everything. You cannot change it in one document and it will apply on the rest. What if that document was not open, by the way? How will it work then? So it has to be open and you have to change it individually for each document. But when it has to do with changing the logo itself in that same document, or the smart object in that same document, no matter how many they are, even if there are 1 million copies of that same logo or smart object, it will always replace all of them in one single click, and it does not take any space, it does not take any RAM space, it does not take any time. The time it took to replace 2 is the time it will take to replace 1 billion copies of them all. We've come to the end of this video, and I'm glad we actually finally made this video a success. If you like the content in this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our new content, and also check out other contents in the channel as well. They will be helpful to you. Share with your friends this video, share with your colleagues, and keep creating. I will see you next time, and my name is Charles. Goodbye.